It looks like UFO whistleblower David Grusch's security clearance has been reinstated. Hi, I'm Patrick with Vetted. Let's jump in. All right, so Representative Eric Burleson is the man behind this. He submitted and passed an amendment to reinstate UAP whistleblower David Grusch's security clearance. And we're going to be taking a look at an interview he did about it, okay, on John Michael Gaudier Event Horizon. We're also going to be taking a look at the clip of Representative Burleson actually talking about it, and a clip from Jeremy Corbell on News Nation talking about it as well. People are pretty excited. I'm excited. Yeah, so let's jump in and see what this is all about. Get ready. All right, here we go.
I rise in support of this amendment, which would increase/decrease funding to express that the Office of Personnel Management should renew the security clearance of David Grusch. You see, Mr. Grusch formerly served as the Reconnaissance Office representative to the UAP Task Force from 2019 to 2021. He recently testified before Congress claiming that partial fragments and even intact vehicles have been found for decades by the federal government, our allies, and defense contractors. According to Mr. Grusch, objects and vehicles retrieved are of, quote, exotic origin based on the vehicle's morphologies and material science testing and the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures. Mr. Grusch also told us that the U.S. is in possession of non-human spacecraft and dead pilots.
Anyone from Missouri, 7th District, Springfield, Joplin, Branson? Eric Burleson. My family, my father's side is from Missouri, outside of St. Louis. So shout out Missouri.
And finally, Mr. Grusch told us that he has spoken with the intelligence officials whom the U.S. military had briefed on, quote, football field-sized aircrafts, that the U.S. government transferred some crashed UAPs to a defense contractor, and that the intelligence officials were also briefed on malevolent activity from extraterrestrial beings. Now, of course, all of this is very interesting to me.
I mean, he just said extraterrestrial beings, right, on the House floor, on C-SPAN. So that's quite, crazy unto itself. Crazy in a good way.
And a number of my colleagues on the Oversight Committee. And my first question, when I had an opportunity for Mr. Grusch, was to say that those are pretty incredible claims. But I'm from the show me state. You're going to have to show me. And I requested specifics, information, which could not be conveyed in that hearing, not in a secure setting. And unfortunately, he's unable to provide us with any supporting evidence to back up his claims because his security clearance has lapsed. Now, my understanding is that Mr. Grusch did go through the proper channels here by turning over classified information to the IC Inspector General. And he ultimately filed a complaint to the IC Inspector General alleging that the information that he presented to the IC has been illegally withheld from Congress. So I'd like to know more about these claims, and so would a number of my colleagues on both sides of the aisles.
Gentleman yields. Questions on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Missouri. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.
There you go. So a little backstory. Grusch testified, okay, David Grusch, UFO whistleblower. I'm going to put links to several different vetted videos to sort of help explain some of the drama back behind this as well and why people are excited about this. Basically, David Grusch came out in a News Nation interview in June proclaiming these claims that were just mentioned here, right, that the U.S. government is reverse engineering UFOs, crash retrieval programs, we have alien bodies, a lot of, black money budget sort of programs outside the purview of Congress and any sort of oversight, right, and have been doing this in a clandestine way for decades, all right. And he came out and testified, okay, before the House Oversight Committee in July, all right, along with Commander David Fravor and Navy pilot Ryan Graves, okay, and David Grusch was there too. And he was supposed to give them a bunch of evidence that he had, documents and whatever, after the hearing, but that couldn't happen, right? They even talk about it in the hearing about how we'll meet right after this, and I'll give you all the stuff, right? The names and the places of everything you've wanted, right? The names of the people involved, the names of the programs, where these warehouses are that, you know, contain these craft and potentially these NHI, right? Non-human intelligence, alien life forms. Let's be real. That's what they're trying to, you know, be fancy with it. But that's basically what they're implying, right? Non-human, and not like non-human, not like an animal, okay? So anyway, he testifies. It can't get him in a SCIF, right? Secured, compartmentalized information facility, something like that. We've covered that a lot on this channel. And then it started to come out why he wasn't getting in a SCIF, because he couldn't afford plane tickets. Then it was like Senator Gillibrand, who was behind this, was like, oh, well, we don't have it in our budget to pay for him to fly out, to, you know, to get in a SCIF. Then they have a SCIF, and, you know, David Grusch isn't there. They have a SCIF meeting, right, with Congress members, and David Grusch isn't allowed to be in there. So there's just a lot of back and forth and confusion about why he couldn't get in a SCIF. His security clearance, this, that, you know, flights. And now we find out from Representative Burleson that it was just that. His security clearance had passed, and he needed to get it reinstated. So this is basically the step to make that happen, which is huge, right? This is definitely huge. So now they can get access to David Grusch in a SCIF to be able to go over this information, right? Which is everything we have wanted, right? Those that support David Grusch, you know, on this channel with me, because I do, and I want to see this happen. So I'm very excited about this. This is huge news. Now, Eric Burleson went on this show. Okay, I'm not gonna play the whole interview, but I'm gonna put a link to it to talk a little bit more about David Grusch. So let's jump in.
Some rather astonishing testimony to Congress recently. Now, where does it go from here? Can you now get Mr. Grusch into a SCIF, into a classified safe environment, to discuss his claims in further detail?
This is one of the first steps, but we are like there's another effort tandem to this where we're trying to get at least the Inspector General to.
So basically, there's no video of this interview, by the way. So if you're confused, like what's on the screen, it's just a phone call interview, and he's putting this imagery over it. So anyway, just in case.
Release to us Grusch's comments and his entire report, so that he had submitted to the Inspector General. And if we can get that we're getting quite a bit of information. And then I would prefer that we then have the hearing with Grusch again in a SCIF after that, so that we can ask questions based on what we've read.
I see. So you can do follow-ups.
So there you go. Basically, right? Like that's sort of the, again, I'm going to put a link to this so you can watch the whole interview and get more, learn a little bit more about Mr. Burleson, to be honest with you. It's a great interview. But basically, yeah, that's the idea, right? So this report that they're talking about is, think of it like, a detective, right? That's what David Grusch was essentially, right? For the UAP task force, right? Investigating UFOs, right? So he gets this call to go investigate, into UFOs. And as he does his investigation, like a detective, right, on the case, he basically comes across all these programs that are running illegally, right? UFO crash retrieval, UFO reverse engineering. We have alien bodies. He finds all this evidence, right? And presents this whole case file, basically, right? That's what that report is it's the case file of his investigation, right? And all the evidence, all the names, all the people, the X on the map, right? And that's what they want to get their hands on, right? And then be able to get Grusch in a SCIF to then ask questions in regards to that report, right? That case file, that investigation file. So this is very exciting. again, super exciting. Can't wait to read the comments, hear what everyone has to say about this. And then, of course, Jeremy Corbell was super excited, right? He tweeted out, "Wow, go UFO. An amendment passed today to get David Grusch, into a SCIF with those he testified to in Congress under oath at the public UFO hearing to spill the beans of the details he couldn't reveal in the open hearing. We're talking UFO programs and names, UFO holding locations, list of hostile and non-hostile witnesses, and about the non-human biologics, bodies, aliens. It's a meeting that's been blocked, but now it looks like it's going to happen. It will undoubtedly lead to some subpoenas, which I think is good for those who need that extra layer of protection to spill the beans and come clean about America's UFO exploitation and reverse engineering programs. I have some individuals in mind." All right, so let's go to a little clip on News Nation with Cuomo talking about this.
Oversight Committee will allow the guy on your screen, whistleblower Dave Grusch, to give details, top secret information about UFOs, including what he had heard about alien bodies, and to now give it to members of Congress. Is today a day in the right direction? Investigative journalist Jeremy Corbell.
Yes, today is a day in the right direction. This is huge, right? This is what we asked for, right? We asked for David Grusch, the UFO whistleblower. He's making these bold, extraordinary claims. And this whole time he's been saying, I got evidence. I'm ready to show it. Let me show it. And he's been denied the ability to show it. So, yes, this is a huge step. This may be a moment to remember, for the disclosure journey.
It's good to
Alexa,
see you, brother.
stop.
Do you believe this is the moment?
Well, this is a moment. Like, as you said, today is a good day. The pushback against David Grusch and what he testified to under oath during the congressional hearing, I mean, it was powerful. He said, I have the UFO program names. I have holding locations of intact non-human intelligence vehicles, one the size of a football field, not just spacecraft. But he says pilots, locations of non-human tech, and biologics, which is the word bodies. So, as well as, by the way, a list of both hostile and non-hostile people that he could call to come forward. So this has been fought against. Can we get David Grusch in a SCIF? Today was great because, as you said, there was an amendment passed to...
Again, a SCIF is just a sensitive compartmentalized information facility. So a private room that, no electronics are allowed. It's just a very secure room that you can go over classified information. All right. Again, we've covered it before on the channel, but basically they can be, set up in hotel rooms, right? If people are traveling, they can be, whole buildings can be SCIFs, particular rooms, right? You can it can be a lot of different things, but basically they would probably do it somewhere in DC, in Congress somewhere, in some room, right, and just get together and be able to do this. So that's what they're saying when they say SCIF.
Make that happen, which shouldn't be hard because he's still eligible for all his clearances.
Right. Now, here's my question. Why is it...
So there it is. That's part of the deal, too. He's still eligible for his clearances, meaning it's kind of like, your passport. After it's expired, right? If you get it renewed, the American passport, if you get it renewed within like 5 years of it being expired, it's like still you're good to go. Okay, it's not like you don't have to redo everything, right? But if it goes past that, then you do, right? It's the same sort of scenario with this, right? So his clearances haven't passed long enough to where he'd have to redo everything to get those sort of clearances. So that's good. Right, he's in a position now. There will basically be no more excuses, right, at this point.
Just him. My producer Ben just got in my ear and said, what about the Inspector General for the intelligence agencies? Other people have to know what he knows. So, does this end here, or is this the new beginning?
It's the new beginning. David Grusch stepped forward, and remember, he came to me and George Knapp before any of this, before the public knew his name, and he was worried because of the reprisals coming at him. I can tell you, I have personally talked with more than a handful of individuals with direct witness knowledge of these programs, and they do want to come forward. And I'll tell you this, people have come forward to the ICIG, I guess, former Chuck McCullough. You know, people are making these assertions, and they are moving forward with the process. People don't trust Arrow. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick is out, and for good reason. So they're doing a better process.
So, Jeremy, I appreciate you. The conversation will continue. Jeremy knows a lot more. He's got a lot more and deeper and different questions than I do. For me, it's basic transparency. If there's nothing to know, if it's not true, say it and tell us how you know. And if there are things that matter to the American people who are paying you to do what you're doing, tell them.
And the subpoenas are coming. That's the deal. Getting Grusch in there, he's going to name names. The subpoenas are coming.
I like it. We'll keep talking, and I appreciate you. Always.
The subpoenas are coming. There we go. That's Jeremy Corbell. The subpoenas are coming. This is the new beginning. You know, we hear that a lot, but let's be real. This is definitely different. This is different. Okay. I do feel this is different. For those of you that have been in this a long time, does this not feel different? Right? At least we'll know for sure what's going on. That's my opinion. Like, we're going to find out for sure. So, I don't know. What do y'all think? Are y'all as excited about this as I am? Again, there'll be no more excuses, right? We start eliminating all the different variables that can keep Grusch from providing that evidence. What is there left, right? So let's see where this goes. Big props to Representative Eric Burleson, who just jumped in on this, right? So interesting, like it didn't come from Tim Burchett, right? Like Luna Moskowitz or whatever his name is, Meyerowitz, can't remember her. Anyway, so let me know what you guys think. David Grusch, reinstatement of his security clearance on the way, y'all. All right. It's another video for Patrick here from Vetted. Remember, every day, new video, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, USA. We'll see you on the next video. Every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.